One more, we good?
Well, as long as we have three or whatever.
Waiting for Sean.
Who?
Six.
I
I
don't
don't know if he's coming now.
Sean's downstairs. He's on a call.
Who is?
Sean. There he is.
Sean, okay.
An alternate?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
We'll take everybody. We'll fill the house up here and just make it look like we know what we're doing.
Okay.
Well, Cleveland's not here. He could actually sit here.
Yeah, you can sit in.
Well, being Cleveland's not here yet, can he sit up?
It's six, let's go.
I wouldn't.
Might as well stay standing here, Berkshire. Okay, it is now 6 PM, and I'd call the meeting of the Board of Adjustments to order. Please all stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'll have the swearing-in process from the deputy. Anybody wishing to speak at tonight's meeting, please take the oath from the clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you.
Okay, this time we'll have an open forum. Anybody wishing to speak on any items not on the agenda tonight? You have 5 minutes. The floor is now open. Anybody wishing to speak on? Not on the agenda. Okay, thank you. The floor is now closed. Thank you. Okay, the agenda, I'd like to have approval of the minutes dated January 22nd, 2025.
A motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, discussion? None? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried all, thank you. Okay, item number 2 is consideration for an excused absence for January 22nd meeting. Mr. Clark.
I make a motion to approve.
Good eye.
Am I allowed to do that?
No.
Discussion on that?
I think we should have a vote if he's allowed to make a motion.
Probably best that others make a motion since we're excusing him.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
okay,
And I'll second it.
okay. Discussion? There being none? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried all, thank you. Okay, I have a reading of variance 2025-02. Staff presentation, please.
Good evening, Board. Matt Jackson, Planning and Redevelopment Planning Manager. Tonight, this agenda item before you is for city application VAR 2502, a variance for 374 Fountain View Circle. The subject property is located within the Fountains of Cypress Lake subdivision on the west side of Pine Avenue North, and the property is developed with a single-family home. The property has a zoning designation of commercial plan development and the future land use designation of residential low. This single-family neighborhood was developed per city site plan S93-010, and the required side setback is 10 feet. The property owner would like to expand the existing screened pool deck to the east to provide a functional and safe outdoor space. The proposed side east setback is 5 feet, where 10 feet is required. And as such, this does require variance to reduce the setback from 10 to 5 feet. As with all variances, they're reviewed against Land Development Code Section 317.3. And I'm going to read a few of the criteria into the record with staff's responses. Special circumstances or conditions applying to the structure or premises in question are peculiar to such structure or premises and do not generally apply to other structures or premises in the vicinity. So approving the variance request expects to have no impact on the adjacent property, as the area directly east of the proposed expansion is not developed with any structures. Furthermore, a detached accessory structure is allowable without a variance within 5 feet of property lines. The proposed addition necessitates only one setback reduction for request for an amenity typical of a single-family home. The granting of the application is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a property right and does not merely serve as a convenience for the applicant. The granting of the application is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of the property. The proposed addition is being requested to accommodate the desired use of the existing amenity. The variance is the minimum variance that would make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structures. The variance is the minimum. As aforementioned, the proposed location of the screened pool deck expansion necessitates only one setback reduction. The proposed placement of the addition on the property is most reasonable and will provide additional area for the safe enjoyment of the amenity that will meet current building codes. Also, and I didn't put it in the presentation, one thing that is also reviewed if the board approves the variance is that it will go through the city process and will review things such as drainage in the area. And that's something that was articulated to the applicant as part of the review process, just like any other project. The granting of the variance will not be detrimental or injurious to other property or improvements in the neighborhood which the property is located. And approval of the variance will not be detrimental. You have Lakeview Drive right-of-way directly south of the subject property. And again, approving the variance request expects to have no impact on the adjacent property, as the area directly east is not developed with any structures. And again, at this time, a detached accessory structure is allowable without a variance within 5 feet of the property line. As such, based on the application meeting the Land Development Code Section 317.3, staff recommends approval of the variance to reduce the side east setback from 10 feet to 5 feet for the screened pool deck expansion for the single-family residence in the commercial plan development district. The staff report has been submitted for the record. This does end my presentation. If you have any questions, here to answer.
Okay, does the board have any questions for staff?
Yes, that, as far as the property line, it doesn't need a variance if it's within 5 feet? That's what you said?
So currently, the point I was trying to articulate, I apologize if I didn't do it well enough. Without a variance, a detached accessory structure such as a shed can be built within 5 feet of the property line. As such, requesting going up to 5 feet did not seem like it would be an issue for the property, since right now they could build up to it anyhow.
Right. What about something permanent?
That's the point of this variance, going from 10 feet to the 5 feet to expand that pool and deck that's not detached. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from board and staff?
That answers my question.
Okay, just a statement that I have. This is probably one of the best presentations that I've seen in years.
Thank you.
The packet, I mean, it's unbelievably detailed. It's really great, easy to read.
I appreciate
So-
that, and part of it was when I was creating the site plan that you all would read, based on a previous conversation we had, I wanted to make it very clear where the proposed addition was. So thank you, it was because of you. I appreciate it. Very nice of you.
We've seen some interesting ones, but this is, with all the pictures and graphs and everything, I
Thank
just
you.
want to say thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for your report. Okay. Okay. Does the applicant want to speak on this request? Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, I guess, does the board have any questions for the applicant? We're done. Okay, at this time, we'll have a little open for public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of this item, please step forward. There being none, anybody wishing to speak in opposition to this item, please step forward, state your name for the clerk.
Good evening, my name is Maria He. Do you need spelling for that? No?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
So thank you for listening.
Sorry to cut in, your address?
98 Cliffside Drive, Yonkers, New York, 10710. I'm here on behalf of my elderly parents who own the home at 376 Fountain View Circle. They were unable to travel here and gave me a written statement and asked me to come here and represent them.
I'm sorry, what was your last name, please?
My last name, He, H-E.
Thank you.
Do you need to know their names? What's the homeowners at 376?
No.
Okay. So thanks for hearing me out today. I'm just going to kind of summarize. They gave me some things in writing, some points they wanted me to cover. So I'll start by saying that right now, there are drainage issues at 376, their property. Or rather, they're surrounded by properties that drain onto their property. I too want to thank you. That was an excellent presentation and very clear. So what's happened is on 374 and 378, 374 in 20, years ago, when they did the construction of the pool, during construction several years ago, the property was raised by 2 inches. And then on 2018, at 378, they contracted a driveway paving company, and the final product lifted the driveway about 1 inch. So while it's true that my parents just have a grassy yard, they have done no construction, and through no fault of their own, through construction at adjacent properties, now they are the lowest lying property, and their water is draining, and they get pooled water for extended periods of time during and after rains. And so therefore, they don't feel that there is no impact on their property with this variance. The variance would also would reduce the amount of like soil and ground available to absorb water, which would even worsen the drainage and flooding issues that they're having. Also, the gutter and gutter spout right now faces towards their property, not to the back of 378 or to the or 374 or to the back, but sideways towards 376. So bringing that gutter and gutter spout even closer to my parents' property would also cause even more drainage issues or more flooding. And so, in short, my parents wrote, this is from my father, my wife called the telephone for assistance number provided. She got the impression that this matter is already concluded and the hearing is just a formality. However, it's my responsibility to bring to the Oldsmar Board of Adjustment, using the public forum, to express their strong objection to the actual variance. They're elderly, they feel kind of hopeless in this issue, they feel like maybe no one's going to be hearing them. There have been drainage issues over years with the construction at adjacent properties that have happened over multiple, years, and they wanted me to come here and be their voice for them. So I'm glad that you could listen. Oh, I just want to add, in addition to impacting the adjacent property, I know there was mention that a shed would be allowed, right? But this isn't a detached structure. This is a permanent structure, which would permanently impact their drainage issues. And also, there was some statement of it being necessary for the preservation of enjoyment of the property. Really? There's already a pool, there's already a deck, there's already pavement around it. Is it really necessary? And considering the negative impact it would have on their neighbor. So, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your time. Staff, could you possibly address this? Since you did say something in your remarks about the drainage issue.
Absolutely, yes, I'd be glad to do that. So as part of any application that comes before the city, when you're adding impervious surface especially to the property, it is reviewed by our Public Works Department to ensure proper drainage is going to be provided for. So I appreciate, and I understand the concern, but this might be actually an opportunity to address maybe the concerns. I did hear potentially a very simple solution to the issues, which is where the downspouts were pointed to. However, I am not the drainage expert. That's in our Public Works Department, but I do know that will be addressed as part of the review. And specifically, when we were reviewing the variance, that was a condition that was relayed to the applicant so that they understood if this is approved, if they move forward with an application, that would be addressed.
Okay. Does that help answer some of your questions?
Well, let's come up to the microphone. Yeah, it's okay, yeah.
It helps answer it, but then it gets lost sort of in City Hall, right? Like, does that mean that the drainage issues would be addressed, or are they going to be looked at and then nothing will happen? What's the recourse? How do we make sure that something actually does happen to improve drainage? Other than saying you're going to look at it, we're going to study it, and then what?
Can we discuss this?
No, well, good.
Sure, that's the entire reason for an application.
Right.
So that not only you're reviewing existing site conditions, proposed site conditions, but addressing any potentially negative impacts, such as water intrusion from one property to another. That's the entire purpose of the application.
Right.
Without that application, nothing would be addressed, quite honestly. So it's kind of interesting, without this variance application, potentially this drainage issue wouldn't even be addressed.
So
Unless someone were to do that on their own, but
okay. So it will be your other department, the water department?
Works.
The Public Works will be addressing this issue too, prior to giving final,
I don't want to speak for them. I am positive, as part of this application, drainage for this increased area, yes, will have to be accounted for.
okay,
I am assured on that.
okay.
All right?
And hopefully that will satisfy your,
My questions are answered, but I don't know that we're satisfied, but thank you. Thank you.
okay,
Thank you.
okay. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? There be none. Would the applicant like to make a closing statement?
Yes, I would.
Okay, please state your name, address.
My name is Kelly Villio. I live at 374 Fountain View Circle. My husband and I bought this house before we were married over 19 years ago. The reason that we are asking for this is we have 2 growing children. I'm not sure where you all grew up. I grew up in the north. We had basements. We had bonus spaces for kids to hang out. Unfortunately, here in Florida, we are limited to space. And by adding this backyard, this is how we are going to be able to give our children a place where they can bring friends and we feel safe because we don't have a bonus room. We have a living room and 3 bedrooms. We love Oldsmar. We, again, have done many improvements to this home because we love our neighborhood. We love where we are. To address one of the concerns that you guys had, this was already addressed with drainage in our development, unfortunately, because of how it was built on the back wall. They put drains in on the other side. That's something, drainage it's Florida. It builds up. But one of the things to keep it away from their property, there will be where the current screen is, and I'm sure you guys have the photos, there will be a super gutter between the current screen and where the new cover is. So any of that water will not be going towards their property. It will be going towards the back of our property. So we are not trying to encroach on their property. We are not trying to do anything but continue to enjoy the house that we have for 19 years. So, and we will address any drainage issues, anything that needs to be done so that we can, again, continue to give our children the life we want to give them.
Thank you.
So,
Okay. Any questions of the applicant? Okay, there being none. Could I have a motion on this variance request, please?
Make a motion to approve?
Okay, could I have a second?
Second.
There'll be a discussion. There being none,
Well,
pardon me?
well, one thing that the great Eric Seidel taught me is whenever there is a situation like this where there is an opposing person, is to understand, and I understand it's Florida. We live in Florida. It's wet all the time, and Oldsmar in particular is, we're always going to have drainage issues, always. So I'm kind of like, with a vote, to vote yes, but at the same time, I think the applicant's already answered the question with what she's going to do with drainage. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very hard for the two elderly people to be put in this situation and feel like you said, you're not getting, it's already approved. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just trying to feel for them as well. But the thing that I have to look at for the applicant is the way it was explained is if that wasn't going to be there and they built a solid shed 5 feet from there with a solid roof, the water issues would be worse. You know what I mean? So this is a screened enclosure, and it sounds like they've addressed or are going to address the issues. But unfortunately, this is Oldsmar. It's always going to have, at the moment, I've been here for 2009, and my back, when it rains, I've always got those issues. So it's kind of one of those things. So that's my discussion. I just wanted to put that out there, that just to look at it from both perspectives, that's all.
Okay. Any other discussion on this issue?
I agree. I mean, drainage is an issue. It's
Yeah.
kind of a both house issue.
It is, it's,
And how much is that extra 5 feet gonna do? If you add the extra piping or drainage, whatever, I mean, it should help what's there, hopefully.
if you put a garage or a shed there,
It's gonna,
it's a solid roof. It's going to be 10 times as worse without a variance versus a screened enclosure.
without a gutter.
Without a gutter.
More than likely.
This one's got a super gutter, so. Just throwing it in there, just.
Wouldn't that have been addressed with the city prior to the approval?
The drainage should have been addressed with the city. That's Frank's question.
I appreciate the question. I'm hesitant to answer that. Again, I'm speaking on behalf of Public Works, and I don't like to do that. I am positive that when homeowners or people come to the city and talk about the issues they're having with their property, such as drainage, we do our best to help them. But no, it would not be a requirement prior to the approval of this application, because this application, while things like drainage are taken into account, it's not until the actual permit application that would be reviewed and be a requirement of that application.
Okay,
Okay.
I'd say, what about the county? Does the county have any input on it?
Now you're going to a whole different jurisdiction. I'm not going to even attempt that.
Well,
But no, it wouldn't be the county. We're talking about private property rights, so no.
Right.
I had to add a little bit of levity. No, this would not be a county issue. Once you get out in a right-of-way, it's a county right-of-way, but we're talking about a private piece of property, so no, the county wouldn't get involved.
Well, again, as he brought up, as you brought up, this isn't the end. This is just the okaying of the variance. We're not making a judgment on the drainage, we're making on the variance.
Yeah, you're right.
It needs to go to the next person to address the issue. I mean, I have the same issue, so,
Yep.
you know, but, yeah, I don't want you to feel like you're sitting in the cold, and I do understand, you know, it's your property, you wanna enjoy it as much as you can. I'm for approving it and letting the next step go, and, you know, hopefully something can be addressed there,
Okay.
all right?
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second, we have discussion. Any further discussion? There being none, roll call vote, please.
Board Member Clark,
Yes.
Board Member Swagger,
Yes.
Board Member Steffensmeyer,
Yes.
Board Member Chicolo,
yes,
Chair Brill.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion passes 5-0.
thank you. Okay, this time we'll call for adjournment of the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Favor signify by saying aye.
All right?
Aye. Well, second then aye,
You did,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Your quick second on me. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.